Welcome back everyone. Today we'll recap a 2011 Thai horror film named Laddaland. Before we start, it is a request to please like and comment on the video as it will help us to grow our reach. At the beginning of the movie, we see a man named V who has recently shifted from Bangkok to Laddaland, an upmarket housing estate located in Chiang Mai. He sets up his house, after which he picks up his family from the airport the next day to bring them to the new home. V's son Nat and his wife Parn are very happy to see the house, but their daughter Nan doesn't have a good relationship with him. But she really likes her room and her mom tells her that her dad does this himself. Here V takes Nat to his room, which makes him very happy to see. Next, they all sit down to have dinner and Nan gets a call from her grandmother. V tells her not to speak on the phone during dinner, but she gets annoyed by this and leaves from there. Now at night V tells Parn that he has hired a Burmese maid, but Parn is concerned over the hefty mortgage payments required to purchase the new house. The next day Parn gets a call from her mother who is not happy with V, and here we learn that Nan had spent much of her life with her maternal grandmother. After disconnecting the call, Parn sees a black cat in the house. She tries to drive her away, but that cat seems angry and then leaves after hearing a bell. Parn sees that there is a disabled old lady in their neighborhood to whom the cat had gone. Now in the evening when Lee comes back home from the office, his feet fall on the cat's poop and he also sees that cat there. He throws his shoe at her, which hits his neighbor's car. Now here they meet their neighbor 𝐂𝐀𝐿, who apologizes to them and tells her wife to clean the poop that their cat has done inside their house. His wife apologizes to them and here Parn sees some injury marks on her neck. Now the next morning V goes for his morning walk where he sees that Burmese maid. He asks her to work at his house and only then does he see some letters lying outside the house. When he picks them up, that maid leaves from there without answering him. Now in the day, Parn is bringing Nat from school when she sees a crowd outside a house and a police car is also there. Police find a dead body of a Burmese female inside the house. The body was beaten with a wooden stick and her face was severely burned by acid. The murderer tried to hide the body inside the refrigerator. In the night, Parn tells Thea about this murder, which Thea is a little surprised to hear. Now Parn is very upset while sleeping, but Thea says that people die every day. They just don't know about it. Now the next morning when he leaves for his morning walk, he sees that the road is completely deserted and he is quite surprised to see this. Then he sees that water is flowing from inside that house and suddenly a dog starts barking. He ignores all this and starts leaving from there. But then he tries to turn off the water tap and during this he also gets wet. Now that night they hear someone screaming from outside. V goes outside to check and sees a woman in their neighborhood being taken to the hospital. That woman is screaming the name of Mac and saying that she is here. And everyone in the neighborhood is shocked to see this. Next, we see a condolence meeting that is taking place for the peace of that woman's soul. Parn hears two women talking that the woman's husband is selling the house because they saw Mackin walking around their house. Then she notices that a monk is getting scared of seeing someone there. But when she looks back, there is no one there. Then all of a sudden that monk starts chanting something and suddenly he gets a heart attack. Seeing this, everyone gets scared and this time Parn sees a girl standing behind who disappears the very next moment. Now in the night Parn tells Thai that Nan has not come back from school yet. She is doing a report at her friend's house. On the other hand, a security guard sees a cab driver applying brakes suddenly. He tells him that a girl came out of nowhere and ran in front of his car. But the security guard does not see anyone there. Then he goes on round to check where he sees a girl sitting in the middle of the road. He lights his torch to look at her and that girl disappears from there and suddenly haunts him. Here Thea is waiting for Nan when he hears some sound from downstairs. He thinks that Nan is back, but we see someone passing by below. When Lee comes down to check, he sees a broom lying there. Then he hears some sound from the kitchen and sees that the door there is open. He closes the door and goes to work and notices that someone is standing in the corner of the room. He gets very scared by this and turns the lamp towards him. He sees that it is a thief who is wearing a scary mask. Lee goes to catch him, but the thief attacks him on the head with a bottle and runs away. Now after some time Nan also comes home and Lee scolds her for coming home so late and they both get into an argument. The next day Lee goes to an arms shop to buy a gun for his protection. Here Parn hears some noise from 𝐂𝐀𝐿's house, so she goes to that side to check. She hears 𝐂𝐀𝐿's wife screams from inside and only then does he comes out in anger. Parn sees bloodstains on his shirt and then he takes his mother inside the house. Later we see Nid at Parn's house where Parn sees bruises on her face. She tells her she can hang out at her house when she is free. Outside, Nan and 𝐂𝐀 and 𝐂𝐃 tell Thee that the cat has a camera on his collar. Nan takes him upstairs to his room to check the pictures, and here Nate tells Parn that she wants to ask for something. Thea is showing the children pictures in his notebook when Parn comes into the room, takes out some money from her purse, and leaves without saying anything. Now that night, Nan is coming back home with her friends when they stop outside the foreigner's house. They start talking about going inside the house, but Nan stops them to do so. But when they force her, she says that she will not climb the fence as she is wearing a skirt. Then her friends climb the fence and Nan starts watching them from outside. Then she notices that the curtain, which was closed a while back, is now open. Nan tells her friend Pip not to go inside, but she doesn't listen to her. After some time, Nan hears some sound from behind, and she sees that Coconut has fallen from the tree. She calls Pip, but her number is not reachable. Now, because she is feeling scared, she also decides to go inside the house. Coming in, she calls Pip again, and she hears her phone ringing from a room. She sees that Pip's phone is lying in that room, and as she picks up the phone, we see the shadow of two hands moving toward her. Then someone screams, and it is her friends who are scaring her. They start making fun of her, but then Nan sees the girl's ghost behind them, and suddenly they close the door. Nan asks them to open the door, and only then does she hear my scream from outside, which scares Nan a lot. She opens the door and looks outside, and then she realizes that someone is behind her. We see that girl's ghost is moving toward her. Nan runs from there and comes to her house and goes straight to her room. Now the next morning, Thea asks Nan about last night, to which she tells that she saw a ghost last night. She says that she and her friends went to the haunted house where they saw a dark shadow, but Thea doesn't believe her and scolds her, due to which Nan gets angry and leaves from there. After some time, Parn's mother calls her and says that she doesn't think that Nan is lying about seeing a ghost. Parn gets into an argument with her on this matter, and her mother warns her that she is putting her kids at risk. The next day, Thea is in his office when his boss comes to him and tells him that this month the company will pay the salaries late, and Thea gets upset hearing this. Now in the night, Thea tells Parn that she wants to talk to Nan, to which she tells him that she has not come home yet, and Thea gets very angry after hearing this. He blames Nan's grandma for this behavior, which Parn doesn't like. Here Nan is with her friends where they are talking about that night. Nan gets a little upset thinking about that night when one of her friends scares her, and they all start laughing. Just then Thea comes over there and starts driving her back home. Here they both start an argument, and Nan says that she told him that she saw a ghost, but instead of worrying about her, he called her a liar. But he still does not believe her words and starts scolding her and starts driving very fast in anger, which scares Nan. He stops the car in front of that haunted house and starts forcibly taking her inside the house. Just then Nan sees a window curtain moving, which scares her even more, but Thea drags her inside the house. Nan tries to free herself, and during this time her hand is cut by a piece of glass. Seeing this, Thea calms down and Nan leaves from there. Now when Thea starts going out, the door does not open, and only then does he see someone's shadow there. When he follows the shadow, he sees someone in the kitchen. Then he sees a girl there, and when he tries to look at her from the window, it closes, and when he goes out, there is no one there. Seeing this, he gets very scared and comes back home. Now the next morning he sees that Nan is going to stay at his friend's house, and Parn tells him that if they don't let her go, her grandma will take her back to Bangkok. Later when Thea goes to his office, he comes to know that their company has cheated them and has closed the company without paying their salary. Here the boss of Parn's old company comes to her house and offers her to join him again. Thea sees her boss leaving the house, and when he comes home, he tells her that he was having a headache, so he came home early. Then he goes to the bedroom and suspects that his wife and her boss are having an affair. He takes out his gun and shoots Parn, and soon realizes he made a big mistake. Suddenly Parn gets up, and it is just a vision. Next, we see him applying for a job, but due to his age, he does not get a job anywhere. Then he sees a job vacancy poster, and he joins the job as a sweeper in a store. While working, he hears some guys talking about Laddaland and sees that two boys are shoplifting. He catches them and starts beating them, but the manager there stops him, and for this act of his fires him from his job. But Thea denies to leave. Coming home, he sees that all his savings in the bank have also been exhausted. Just then they hear some sound, and they see that 𝐂𝐃 has locked Nat in a closet. Thea starts scolding 𝐂𝐃 and takes him to his house. He tells 𝐂𝐃 that his son locked his son in the closet, on which 𝐂𝐃 slaps 𝐂𝐃, but Thea does not like it. Now the next day Thea gets 𝐂𝐃's cat's collar's camera. He starts checking the pictures, in which he finds the pictures of that haunted house, and in them, he sees a girl who suddenly appears in front of the camera. Now seeing this, Thea gets very scared and sees in the next pictures that Nat is going inside the house. He immediately goes to that house and starts looking for Nat. Then he hears some sounds from the kitchen and he sees that blood is coming out from the fridge. He checks that the blood is fresh and suddenly someone starts banging from inside the fridge. He starts removing the tape on the fridge, but only then does he get a call. It's Parn who tells him that Nat came home already. Now hearing this, he gets very scared and only then does the door of the fridge open, which he closes with a kick. He runs straight to his house and asks Nat why did he go inside that house, to which Nat says that 𝐁𝐃 told him to go get the cat. Now he angrily goes to 𝐀𝐄𝐀 and says that his son forced his son to go inside that foreigner's house. 𝐀𝐃 tries to ignore him, but they both get into an argument and he asks him for 10,000 baht, which his wife had borrowed from his wife last month. Hearing this, 𝐀𝐃 goes inside in anger and brings money and throws it on his face and tells him to stay out of their business. After some time, he sees that 𝐀𝐃's cat is messing with their food. He gets angry seeing this and goes after the cat and kills it by trapping it in a door. The next day he goes back to the job where he finds Nan at the cash counter and it turns out to be an awkward moment for both of them. Now in the night Parn tells him that she is going back to work, to which he asks her if she wants to go back to work or to her boss, on which she does not say anything and leaves from there. Later, he is very upset when he hears the bell and sees through the window that the 𝐀𝐃's mother is going somewhere. Now the next day he is giving a job interview, but he is getting calls from home again and again. When he picks up the call, Parn tells him something which he gets shocked hearing. He immediately comes back home where a woman tells him that 𝐀𝐃 killed everyone in the house. 𝐁𝐃's skull caved in where he was shot and they have been dead for days. Later Parn tells V that she doesn't want to live here anymore. They will go back to Bangkok and start all over. V tells her that they still have to pay for this house and if they move out now, they will lose the house. Parn says that they were all happy even before the house, on which he says that he don't want to go back so her mom can look down on him. Parn suggests that they should go back to Bangkok and she will start working there. But he suspects that she is doing this for her boss. She tells him that if he feels that she is such a person, then they should not be together anymore. Later she is in the washroom at night when she hears the children giggling. She immediately goes to the room but Nat is sleeping there. She falls asleep with him but we see that Nan is awake and 𝐁𝐃's spirit is there in the room. Here he is hearing the sound of the bell and goes outside to check it to the window where he sees 𝐀𝐃 standing outside. The next day, Parn's leg is hurt by a toy and she sees that all the toys are spread in the room. She calls Nat and scolds him for spreading the toys, but he says that he didn't do it but 𝐁𝐃 did it. She thinks he is lying but Nat tells her that he is currently playing hide and seek with 𝐁𝐃. Parn is shocked to hear this, and Nat on his way back to his room asks 𝐁𝐃 to come out. Parn follows him and Nat starts looking for 𝐁𝐃 everywhere in the house. She stops him and asks him not to lie but he says that he is not lying. Then she starts beating him but only then they come back home and stop her and take Nat to his room. Now the next day Nan comes back home and Parn tells her that they are going back to Bangkok. Then a handkerchief of Nan flies to the backyard of the 𝐀𝐃 and she comes there to pick it up. But then the door opens and Nan hides there and sees that Nit has come out. Nit comes near her and only then does Nan notice that half of her face is damaged and she gets very scared. Then she sees 𝐀𝐃's mother and screams loudly in fear. And then we see her in the hospital. Here Parn starts getting angry with V and says that he loves his house more than his family and her children are very unlucky to have a dad like him. V gets very sad to hear this and leaves from there with Nat. Now that night the weather turns very bad and V wakes up to the sound of the door closing. He sees that Nat is not on the bed, which makes him very upset, and he starts searching for him all over the house. He calls Parn and asks if she has taken Nat. Then he sees Nat's slippers outside in the courtyard of 𝐀𝐃. He immediately goes to his house and he has also brought his gun with him. There he also finds Nat's second slipper and only then does he get scared by a sound. He finds a drawing of his family made by 𝐁𝐃 there and then he hears some sound from above and suddenly 𝐁𝐃 appears in front of him. Seeing this, he gets very scared and asks him if Nat is here, to which 𝐁𝐃 nods his head and says yes. Then he shows him his face, seeing which he gets very scared, and starts running from there. Then he hears the sound of a sewing machine from a room and comes inside to find Nat. He sees that the machine is running but there is no one there and suddenly Nit's spirit haunts him. On the other hand, Parn comes back home and sees the at 𝐀𝐃's house. V hears the sound of Nat laughing from a room and comes inside by opening the door where he sees bloodstains everywhere. There he sees someone's feet but it is a mannequin. Then he hears someone crying and he sees that the 𝐀𝐃 is crying sitting on the bed. Then he also sees the dead body of his wife, son, and his mother there. 𝐀𝐃 turns towards him angrily and here Parn comes to their house. But she sees 𝐀𝐃's mother's chair moving towards her. Here Lee points the gun towards 𝐀𝐄𝐒 and asks him where his son is. But when 𝐀𝐄𝐒 rises to attack him, Lee shoots him. Here 𝐀𝐄𝐒's mother tries to attack Parn, but she dodges the attack. Here 𝐀𝐄𝐒 now starts troubling Lee, and the sound of his footsteps starts coming from all sides of the room. Just then Parn comes there and finds Lee shooting at a wardrobe where Nat is hiding. She takes Nat out of the cupboard and tries to wake him up, and after some time he regains consciousness. But Lee, thinking that he had killed his son, commits suicide. Next, we see Parn driving her kids back to Bangkok. On the way, she recounts to Nan how she became accustomed to Lee, how she lost her dreams when she discovered her pregnancy, and how in spite of everything, Lee always tries to do his best and love his family. The film ends with flashbacks showing Lee and his family in happier times. Please like and subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon never to miss new video updates. Thanks for watching.